Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello and welcome to the second non-point scoring round of the BiS Indycar Championship. Jonathan Wager and Zach Buchanan came away victorious last time out at Road America, but this week we come to its namesake, Road Atlanta, for 3 intense sprint races around this fast and technical track. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the booth tonight we're going to have Reese Gardner. He's going to be commentating as well, and once again, as always, directing, we have the one and only Mr. Christian Hill. And this race as well is actually sponsored by Pit Road Productions. But let's have a quick look at the schedule. Reese, would you do the honours, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. What a fantastic schedule the BiS IndyCar Series has. We're currently at the non-championship round at Road Atlanta, of course. Last time out, we were at Road America. We're basically at the halfway point of the season at the moment. Next round, of course, we go to Laguna Seca, and then followed up by Mid-Ohio. 2 oval rounds at Texas and Michigan, Texas being non-championship as well. And the final road round of the season being the penultimate round at Barber Motorsport Park. I mean, this truly is an IndyCar schedule through and through, visiting America's greatest tracks.
Well, let's talk a little bit about where we're at today. A little bit of background information on Road Atlanta. So, if they built a roller coaster for road racing drivers, it would look a lot like Road Atlanta. The 2.54 mile Hill and Dale 12-turn circuit nestled in the Red Earth Hill Country, Hill Country, 35 miles north of Atlanta, Georgia. Also home to Mike Finnegan from Roadkill. He's out there. Home to IMSA's Petty Le Mans Sports Car Endurance Race. Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta also hosts Sports Car Club of America professional, national, and regional amateur sports car racing, and I've got to admit, it's definitely one of the tracks I would like to go and visit. From the day the track opened in the fall of 1970, drivers have found themselves alternately mesmerized and terrified by the serpentine rhythms of this challenging racetrack.
That's right. The Brave will make a move into turn 1 and hold it into the blind apex at turn 3. Maybe use the tree that you see ahead of you as you crest the hill. The S's you have to get right as you drop down the hill, and then ride the curbs at turn 5, hoping to get through it unscathed. Huge curb on the exit of turn 5 going uphill. Watch for drivers making a move or even holding position into 6, ready to set up a pass, starting with the exit of 7. The straight is long and fast coming down to turn 10, the primary overtaking opportunity, the chicane at the end of the lap. But take the chicane badly, you'll lose time under the bridge and through the end of the lap. It's fast, intense, and takes huge commitment. Road Atlanta always kicks up a good race, and we're in for 3 intense sprints. No stops, no need to worry about fuel. You don't even have to change tire compounds. Just pushing from start to finish.
Absolutely, and definitely, not having to worry about the fuel, definitely, it adds to, the concentration you can have. And another thing to think about as well, where this is a non-championship round, we're going to be seeing some new faces here in BiS. As I'm just looking through the timing screen very quickly, a couple of new people that I've not yet had the pleasure of getting too familiar with. Andrew Waring, I think I might have seen him once before. JP Burns, that's another new driver. Ryan Chapman, Alan Daronco. A couple of new names I'm seeing, certainly not ones I've seen too much, but currently we've got about 18 drivers currently out they're out on doing a little bit of qualifying as we speak. But in terms of strategy, like, I think I'm just going to be going for it all out. I mean, the guys still, I believe, have the push to pass option. I mean, Reese, where would you be thinking about using that kind of feature?
Oh, definitely out of turn 7. That's pretty much the only place you can really make use of it properly. If you time it right, probably out of the final chicane at 10A and 10B as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a shorter straight, obviously, from 10A to turn 1. But yeah, I would say that the back straight is the way you want to go. The slipstream is going to be massive. Of course, these cars being high downforce generating cars, they'll want to make use of that slipstream as much as possible because they'll likely be down on straight line speed. This car definitely likes high downforce settings here at Road Atlanta, just for the S's.
Oh, absolutely, and it's one of my I call it a princess approved track. But let's have a quick look at the format the guys are going to be doing tonight. So qualifying goes on for about 20 minutes. They've got about 5 minutes left of that, and then we get straight into the hot racing action, and it is going to be a absolute belter. First 2 races, will be going. They'll be going basically off the qualifying position, and then I believe off the finishing position for the second race. Race 3, however, this is one of my favorite features of BIS. The top 10 even, they get inverted. So say you finish in 10th place in race 2, you're starting on the pole for race 3. No stops required, and it is a all-out sprint. Open eye rating, we did mention that earlier, and fixed setups as well. This is something I've always preferred whenever I've been racing. I'm definitely not a race engineer, and by having that fixed setup, I know it's me versus the track. I don't have to try and fight the car as well. Local yellows only, so there'll be no full course cautions. 1 fast repair as well. Don't get me wrong, if you end up getting into the hot stuff, I don't see you being able to make a quick recovery out of that. And not only that, there is an open choice on compound, so we may see a couple of drivers choosing to take alternate strategies there. I know sometimes the softer compound, the alternate, only go for about 7 or 8 laps on occasion. So we'll have to see what the guys do here. Maybe they try and go for the primary and they can make those tires last. We'll find that out a bit more as the racing goes on, as it develops. I'm looking forward to seeing that on the grid.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. It is interesting that the choice to go for open compound choice here. I mean, yeah, no pit stops, so obviously it makes sense to give drivers the choice whether to run the primary or the alternate throughout the race. But as you can see, the primary is the harder compound. It's got longer life but less grip, 1 to 2 seconds a lap slower. And of course, that's over the stint on average. The alternates are very quick right out of the box, but after about 4, maybe 5 laps, they start to really fall off in grip. So this is the dilemma that the drivers face. Which tire do you go for? These races are 15 minutes long. A lap around here takes about 1 minute and 6 seconds at the front of the field. So I would say we're expecting about a 14 lap race, maybe go to 15 if the pace is good. So yeah, let's see if the soft compound wins out over the harder one.
Well, I definitely think I would be going for the softer compound in this scenario. Especially try it out in race 1, see if I can use that myself, my own driving style. I've always found in traffic, that is where I am the most strength, the most dominant. And, don't get me wrong, my pace is going to probably fall off at the end anyway. But if the other guys are on the same kind of tire set strategy, then you've got the draft with that. And potentially, is this going to give them an opportunity to pull away from the guys on the harder compound tires? We're just going to have to wait and see. That draft is such a crucial factor.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, looking at the way these drivers are taking the track right now in the sim, they are focusing hard on the exit of turn 7. And for me personally, that's one of the corners that I always get wrong when I'm driving at Road Atlanta. It's always, I'm either going too slow through the corner and not nailing the exit, or I'm going slightly too fast and I'm washing out on the exit and losing time down the straight. It's very difficult to get that exit right. So you never know. Depending on when they have push to pass available, if they get the exit wrong, they might just flick the button and get themselves a little bit of extra power just to make up for that.
Definitely a tough corner, a challenging corner. I know exactly what you mean. Something that I'm thinking about is I'm wondering how well these cars are going to take the curves. I can't imagine they're going to be too keen. But let's see if we can catch up with one of the guys doing a lap quickly, as qualifying's got about a minute and a half left. We'll see if we can get a quick peek, maybe in on board. Perhaps we'll try and find a driver who's just going and starting a lap for you. Looks like we're going to be getting Richard Swindells. He's a classy dude. I got to spend a little bit of time with Richard. Let's take a quick peek here. As yep, he's just going around the final turn, and that is let's have a quick look. That's turn I guess turn 11, turn 12, depending on what you want to call it. As he goes across the start finish. Pretty fast. You can see there he's doing 150 mile an hour as he's going up over the hill. Now this part is incredibly scary. That particular part there, I can see there being absolute carnage. It gets a little bit easier here. You just see a little bit of a correction there from Swindells, and definitely got to be hard on the brakes. Now you can run quite wide just here, but I do wonder how it's going to feel about the curbing. Certainly in a GT3 car, you can definitely come unstuck there. I know from personal experience. And then into turn 7, this is the corner we were discussing just a moment ago, where you've really got to be focusing on your exit speed. As you see, Ozzy Milwayne's just going to put out a fastest lap of 105.3, but we're going to carry on with Mr. Swindells for the minute. Absolutely blasting it down here, and we'll try and keep a log quickly of what his speed is, because as you can see there, he's not got a draft to help him along. 174, 175, 177 before he hits the brakes. Again, another corner I find as well, you really want to focus on the exit, carry as much speed as you can going up over the hill and round the final corner. We'll see what Mr. Swindells can do. He's currently in 11th place. Can he improve? He can. Takes 10th place.
Lovely stuff from Richard Swindells. And you know what? I've just seen something. I was thinking about, fast laps as the session reaches its end. It is a very hot track. So your first lap on a run would probably be your fastest. That also means that the hard compound runners might be able to get something out of this. So it's been a very interesting qualifying session. It's going to be a very interesting series of 3 races here, Daniel. So I think it's time we go through the starting order.
Absolutely. Now let's have a quick look. Who's going to be on the front row? I know who it is, but let's see what you guys. Let's get that graphic up for you in just a second. As you can see, there, absolutely fantastic camera work from our wonderful director. But on your poll, it's Ozzy Milwayne. Now this is the gentleman who won the drive in a Real Radical here at BIS. He's out in front for Evolve Sim Sports with Andrew Harmon alongside him in second. You got Sean Fitzgerald, he's in third alongside Jonathan Wager after recent success in Road America. He's in fourth. Joey Haynes in fifth, and Zach Buchanan, again, another guy from BIS who got to drive a Real Radical. Thank you very much. He's in sixth.
Yep, starting in 7th spot, we've got Andrew Waring, a driver who I've known for many, many years. We used to race together in leagues, and I was under the impression that he'd retired from sim racing, but apparently not. Tyler Scarali is going to join him on the 4th row. John Benwalid and Richard Swindells will round out the top 10. Swindells making that nice late improvement in qualifying. JP Burns and Nick Horvath are going to round out our top 12.
And as we have a look at 13th, Nicholas Colander, I'm looking forward to this guy's headshot popping up on the screen. He's alongside Michael Broomhead. That is your league founder. Ryan Chapman and Marlon Jones behind them on and then Alan Doronco and Hansel Nave in 17th and 18th. Now, these guys are just about getting ready to go, I hope. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, so am I. They're just pulling away behind the pace car now. Short formation lap here at Road Atlanta. So we're going to be getting this race going pretty much instantly. Who's going to get the best run of the line? And how much carnage are we going to see in the very fast turn 1?
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be absolute pandemonium. But hopefully these guys, I mean, they're experienced. They used to BIS. Hopefully they can keep it clean. And they're off. They're green. Ozzy Milwayne, he's there on your inside right now. You can see quite a few of the Evolve Sim Sports cars and already having to go a little bit on the defensive there, but you can see that he's going on the inside, flips to the outside. It's a tough thing when you get a chicane like that, and he's managed to get it into single file. A little bit of a twitch there from Andrew Harmon in second place. More of a twitch.
Oh, no!
He's got it. Oh, no!
Oh, that's massive. Jonathan Wager went off in the S's, and that's taken out John Benwalid. Andrew Hartman, of course, going for a spin as well. So 3 cars already with huge issues off the formation lap here. Michael Broomhead also spun at turn 3, our league administrator. So he's all the way at the back too.
That was Zach Buchanan as well, the bright yellow 40 car getting caught in the action as well. But let's have a look now. Absolute pandemonium. Sean Fitzgerald, he's managed to sneak up from 3rd into 1st place, taking that lead from Ozzie Milwayne. Joey Haynes, he's managed to sneak up a little bit as well. He's there in 3rd, but currently the hard charger in the event, Nicholas Calander, in 5th.
Yep, and interesting to note that the majority of the field had gone for the hard compound tyres. It looks like there's a problem for JP Burns. He's just fallen to 13th place. So our leader, Sean Fitzgerald, is on the soft tyre. You see that Nicholas Colander is there as well. Tyler Scarali ahead of him on the soft tyre too, and Richard Swindell's behind. Only other soft tyre runners are Marlon Jones and Hans Salnave, with Hardman and Broomhead also on the soft tyre. Everyone else is currently on the hard. So it'll be an interesting matchup. Who is going to go the distance?
Well, definitely, it's going to be interesting to see these tactics unfold. But I had a quick look at JP Burns. It looked like he locked up a little bit going into that final chicane and span the car around, end up in the sand for a little bit. Thankfully, no damage. But what an interesting start. You know, currently Calander, he's got the 8th place gain. A couple of drivers as well, Ryan Chapman and Marlon Jones. They're both up 7 spots, as is Hans Selnave. Good to see him out on the track and getting some positions purely by attrition.
Yeah, indeed. Selnave doing very well at the moment, as Marlon Jones has just made his way past Ryan Chapman at the chicane, but there's a bit of a comeback from Andrew Waring, who's trying to get it done there. Fastest lap will go to our leader, Sean Fitzgerald, as we check out that battle for 9th place, 8th place even. This is fantastic stuff. You see that Waring is trying his best here to work his way past Ryan Chapman, who's a bit offline in the S's. Gently does it down the hill and to the curb at turn 5. How wide are these drivers running? They're not taking very much of it, and that makes sense. It's very bumpy out there. These cars are very stiff. Waring tries at turn 6 and he gets the move done. Nice.
Absolutely fantastic pass, but now the problem is he's going to be providing a beautiful draft to Ryan Chapman the whole way down this straight. And all of this happening, Marlon Jones is absolutely seizing the day right now and just trying to run away, trying to break that draft. Are they going to catch him in the braking zone? He was about 7 tenths clear as they started the straight, and that gap has already fallen to 4 tenths of a second, 3 tenths of a second. A little bit of variation as they go through the chicane. Obviously, you need a good amount of gap to break that draft.
Yeah, absolutely. About 1 to 1.5 seconds back is when the draft starts to come into effect for you. Remember, Marlon Jones started down in 16th place. He's having a fantastic race right now. Halved his way up through the field to 8th, but it's going to be 9th here. I think maybe, can Waring get it done there? He absolutely can. Waring on the recovery. He started in 7th spot but got involved in the lap 1 shenanigans. So this is turning out to be an excellent recovery drive from him so far, already dispatching 2 cars in the space of a lap.
Definitely, definitely. And sometimes, you know what, it can be a lot of fun to go through the field. You know, myself, I love playing in traffic. Absolutely. Well, that makes me sound like a careless flex, but hey, I just admitted I'm Trey. Well, no, that's not it. But you guys, excuse me, I'm hiccuping. My apologies for that. As you can see, if you look at the timing screen on the left-hand side, you see these beautiful flashing things that are happening, just like that, Jonathan Wager. Well, if you guys are wondering at home what that is the push to pass. That's something we kind of talked about a little bit briefly earlier on. And basically, it gives them a little bit of an extra boost, try and help them get the move, get the pass done. And you're mainly, I think, as my colleague here, Reese, was saying, you're going to be seeing that mainly on the back straight.
Yeah, mainly on the back straight, but there's probably a few drivers who will time it such that they can get a good run out of the final chicane and towards the first turn. There's Marlon Jones and Ryan Chapman both struggling through the S's here. Man, Chapman's really down on pace there. Let's see what the run's like here for Marlon. Oh, interesting stuff. And right with them is Michael Broomhead as well, another driver on a recovery. Let's see what Ryan Chapman's reaction to all of this is. He's focusing hard. Let's see if he... Yep. Is he going to? Oh, no. Andrew Hardman. Hardman is going to go for the push to pass there. Sorry, it's Hardman that's behind them, not Broomhead. My apologies. Side by side coming into the chicane. Easy does it. Will Ryan Chapman defend here? Still gets some overlap over Hardman, but it's no use. Hardman will go for it here, and he's on push to pass again here, coming out of the final chicane, which is exactly the point I was making. If you stand a chance to make a move, or if you want to get a gap over the driver behind, that is where you go for it.
Oh, definitely, absolutely fantastic pass there from Andrew Hardman. You know, we've seen him before. He's been around BIS for a long while, and understandably so. He is a fantastic driver, and just demonstrating that as well. It's always good to see a great pass, especially when it's a clean one. You know, not something that we always get here at BIS. Occasionally they are a little bit dirtier than they could be. But as I'm looking back through the timing field, these guys are spread out a little bit. But Nick Horvath, Richard Swindles, and Nicholas Colander, these three cars have started to bunch together. Colander at the front of that, and this is going to be the battle for 5th place. That traffic cone paint job beautifully at the front. Swindles, he's keen. I know he didn't get quite as much practice as he wanted this week. I take part of the blame for that, but currently doing quite well. He's up 4 positions. Nick Horvath up 5, Colander up 8. So these guys are all having a good race so far, but it'll be interesting to see how these guys sort it out.
I'm seeing that Swindles is taking a much more assertive line through turn 1 there. He went all the way to the outside. Interesting line that you have to take through turn 1. I compare it to like an uphill version of Cops at Silverstone. It's incredibly fast. Just tap the brakes and go on through, focus on the exit. But that uphill exit, of course, is very bumpy, especially if you hit the curb. Swindell's just avoiding that curb and getting an excellent run. Let's see what he does here coming out of turn 7. Well, Colander is on the push to pass. He's trying to gap Swindell's, and it looks like it's working for the time being. So Richard's going to have to respond somehow.
I do believe something may have happened with Andrew Hardman. I'm looking at the event scenario, and I see that he got a 1X followed by driving slowly. So something has gone on there. He's dropped back again a little bit, but again, still ahead of Marlon Jones. So obviously a little bit of a whoops, but not enough that he's paid the price for the position. But I do also see a little bit of a warning on Mike Broomhead. Oh yeah, Broomhead, his right front wheel is currently held on by hopes and dreams. Definitely a couple of incidents has gone on there. It looks like we're going to see.
He just came out of the pits.
Oh, yeah. I've just seen it on my side. Let's have a quick look at Andrew Hardman first. We're going to have a quick replay, see what happened there. So where are we at? Okay, this is going up over the hill. Oh, a little bit too greedy on the curb there, and definitely it bit him a little bit. It looks like he may have got a little bit of damage, perhaps.
Potentially. He definitely got a slowdown at the very least, so he had to clear that and keep going. If you're curious about what happened to Broomhead, well, it was at turn 5. He's having a lot of troubles, is Broomhead. Turns out that he's just crashed again, unfortunately. So Michael Broomhead not having the best of runs out here. This is the initial incident. He got loose. This is the second incident. He got loose over the curbs and found himself in the gravel trap. No damage, but his earlier crash happened at the same location. The exit of turn 5 found himself in the wall. This is it happening right here. Yeah, that's a big smash. Losing the right front wheel and having to visit the pits. So, yeah, league administrator not having the best time out there.
Yeah, definitely getting a little bit more airtime than you'd see at the X Games. Not the way to drive an IndyCar, but you know what? The beautiful thing about the 15-minute sprints is there's 3 of them, so potentially a chance for recovery. But currently, I just see Richard Swindles. He's just dropped back. He's pit.
Oh. Okay, interesting. He'd made his way up into 6th. I'm not sure if that was for... It was for damage, I think. Yeah, oh yeah, big damage. Exited turn 5 on his 9th lap. Looks like he got crossed up over the curb and found the concrete.
Damn, well, that's just the way it can go sometimes. Obviously, the curbs are taking a few casualties today. As it, oh, ouch, ouch. Yeah, that's going to hurt.
big ouchie for Richard Swindells, and he had to tow back to the pits. So I don't think he's going to make it back out of the pits in time for the end of the race. We've only got 4.5 minutes left on the timer. So yeah, if you're crashing now, you're basically out.
Well, as you say that, Nicholas Callander and Nick Horvath, these guys are still going at it. Richard Swindells now no longer involved in that battle. And I've got to say, Horvath applying a lot of pressure, trying to go down what's going to be on the inside to the next corner. I think he's going to maybe have it done. Callander leaving him a very respectable amount of space. But the question is, side by side, going out of 7, who's going to be behind? Because I would honestly almost lift off a little bit and try and tuck behind in the draft, and then slingshot ahead going into that final chicane.
Well, it looks like neither of them is going to be ahead because Callander got the best exit on the outside of the corner, but Horvath slightly ahead on the way into 10A. They're going to keep going side by side. Nicholas Callander is not willing to give this up, but he has to eventually, and Nick Horvath is finally ahead.
Yeah, but the good thing for Callander is he is now going to be in that draft. Now, certainly from my experience, you can pass in the earlier segment of the track. You can. I wouldn't suggest it, but you can. Certainly with the cars not being so receptive to the curbs, it would definitely be a high-risk maneuver, not one that I'd be too keen on. But, you know, one of the things that I do find is people often have very different braking points as they head around this very, very fast left-hander. And you can see there, Horvath taking a little bit more curve, Callander on a little bit more conservative side, and dropping back a little bit from the 382 car.
Yeah, it looks like Nicholas has decided to give that up for now. Remember, he's one of the soft tyre runners, and he's already completed 10 laps on that thing. So I think the pace of those who have started on the soft tyres is really starting to drop off. I don't think that's the case for our leader, Sean Fitzgerald, though. He's just continued to go fast here. Well, actually, now that he's completed that lap, Aussie Milwane is now a little bit faster on that lap. Took a 10th out of Sean Fitzgerald on the previous lap, but with a 4-second gap that Sean has to manage, well, I think he's basically got this wrapped up as long as nothing goes wrong.
Definitely, and the good thing about the 15-minute sprints is it's not too often you're going to find much for the lap traffic. Callander absolutely trying still to catch up to Horvath. That gap has expanded to almost a second, and Andrew Waring is now going to be right behind Callander. He is now under attack, so he's gone from being attacker to basically, I guess, being under attacker. I felt sure there's a better play on words on that, but mate, Reese, help me out here. What was the word I was looking for? But Andrew Waring hot on the wing of Callander. You can see they're going a little bit wide, and Waring has snuck by, but that's not necessarily the end of this battle. As we just saw that cheeky little headshot from Callander, gets me every time. He's going to get the draft.
I believe the term you're looking for is the hunter and the hunted, maybe?
That one, yes, thank you. Alien versus Predator.
Yes. And at the moment, it looks like Andrew Waring is the Predator. He's dispatched Callander, and he is on his way to catching up to Nick Horvath. Horvath and Waring are both on the hard tyre, but Waring seems to be getting a little bit more out of it than Horvath is. Has been able to heat up his tyres just that little bit better. Remember, Indy cars don't have tyre warmers, so you're starting stone cold, and you have to get them up to temp over the first couple of laps, and they're just getting in the prime phase now, those grey-walled primary compound tyres.
Definitely, you know, sometimes as well, I do wonder, do you want all the grip at the start, or do you want to, you know, take it a little bit lighter, knowing that, you know, you're going to have times where you're a little bit, you know, compacted up. But I see Richard Swindells, he is actually back out on the track, and he's currently having a little bit of battle with Michael Broomhead.
Yeah, they're a few laps down at the moment, but they are battling for 14th and 15th. These guys, of course, very familiar with each other. They've been racing in the same leagues for quite a few years now. So this will be an interesting little matchup. Swindells, of course, I think a little bit more consistent than Broomhead has been in this race, but both of them suffering issues. Fortunate that they've managed to get out at the end of the race, but we are on the final lap for our leader, Sean Fitzgerald. He still holds on to a gap of about 2.8 seconds. He has lost quite a bit of pace in these final few laps. Those soft tyres are well and truly gone now, but I think the gap is enough for him to hold on versus Aussie Milwane.
he's definitely going to be looking forward to seeing Barney wave that checkered flag. Certainly, it's hard when all of a sudden you're a sitting duck to the guy behind you, and you're literally just hoping, trying to limp that car home. It's not that it's damaged, it's just that the rubber is just not there anymore. And you can see that, I mean, it's a great position to be in Ozzy Milwain, because he knows he has the advantage. He doesn't have the time. He just needed another one, maybe 2 laps, and the result could have been very, very different for him.
Well, there we go. Sean Fitzgerald takes victory in the first race here at Road Atlanta. Milwain and Haynes will complete your podium. Scarali, Horvath and Waring are together at the end of the race, but it looks like Horvath is not going to be able to catch up to Scarali by the very end of it. The only other battle on track is between Swindells and Broomhead. Swindells just making the pass, and Marlon Jones and JP Burns battling over 10th and 11th. I get the feeling that Marlon Jones is going to win that battle. So a bit of a race of attrition. We had ultimately 5 cars that crashed out of this one. I'll be hoping for better luck in races 2 and 3.
My apologies, I muted my mic, and thank you to my director for calling me out on it. I was coughing / sneezing. My apologies. It'll be interesting to see, because obviously there's a few guys that we know are particularly quick, like Zach Buchanan, John Bembler, that are sticking in my mind right now. It'll be interesting to see these guys, can they make their way through the field? Obviously where the race 1 result is your grid position for race 2, it's going to be interesting, and then not only that, race 2 has a lot higher stakes in terms of my mind, because that 10th position can be your golden ticket to leading race 3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Indeed, it could. I don't think there's any need to go through the grid, because it's the finishing order from race 1. So Fitzgerald and Milwain are going to be your front row. But those battles around 10th, indeed. Marlon Jones, JP Burns, Alan Duronco as well. We've also got the likes of Jonathan Wager and Zach Buchanan starting down the order. They were fast in qualifying, so they're going to be looking to fight their way up in this second race, try and get that coveted pole position.
Well, I was just giving our league organizer, Mike Broomhead, a little bit of a hard time, asking what he called that for driving. Said, come on, man, you're better than that. So we'll be interesting to see if my little pep talk has any effect, or if the marshals get used to, maybe putting a repetitive strain injury for waving the yellow flag so vigorously every time Broomhead turns the corner. But it's going to be interesting at the start. Obviously, there's that huge incident right near the beginning of the race. Well, lap 1, it was just absolute carnage, and a lot of guys benefited from that. But now, it's a level playing field again. These guys are going to be out, they're going to be back, and they got to remember as well, like, you can't be too aggressive at the start. Don't get me wrong, it's very opportunistic for trying to get positions, but the tires are cold, and it can sometimes be hard to mentally reset with that, because you've literally just driven the car on hot tires.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be a tough one. And I think there have been a lot of lessons learned for quite a few of the drivers. Maybe some of them have switched compounds. One driver who hasn't switched compounds is Sean Fitzgerald. He's decided, yep, the soft tires worked well for me in that first race. I'm going to continue on. We'll see. We'll see, though, what Ozzy Milwain has for him.
Yeah, I'm expecting Milwain to do quite well, really.
He's on the softs too.
We know he's got pace. We've seen him have pace. There's a reason he won the BIS Radical, the pro level, like just last season ago. So, it'd be interesting as well. My money's on Buchanan right now. I don't think he's necessarily going to get a podium, but I do see him making some pretty hard moves through the grid.
Yeah, I'm certainly thinking that too. Joey Haynes on the hard tyre. No, sorry, Joey Haynes on the soft, and Tyler Scarali remaining on the hard there. So all of our top 3 on the hards, but there's more drivers on the softs here up at the front of the field as the race gets going.
Keep going, Reese. Keep going.
All right, here we go. Here we go then. Into turn 1, Fitzgerald gets a really good run. He manages to cover Milwain at the first turn, but oh no, Andrew Waring immediately spins off, and heavy damage in the wall. Also seeing that's Alan Duronco, who's gone off at turn 1, but he escapes damage as the field makes their way through the S's. Broomhead already making up places. Looks like JP Burns has had a really bad run through the S's, and he's off the circuit. He'll take the shortcut and get back going safely. Oh, who's damaged ahead? This is carnage again. Ryan Chapman and Sean Fitzgerald.
Oh dear, it looks like they're on the same team as well, so at least they're consistent. I've just seen two cars of the same color, but wowzers. So good news for Joey Haynes, he's up a position. Good news for Nicholas Colander, he's up again. But currently right now, absolutely celebrating these incidents is Jonathan Wager. He is up 7 positions. Now he's another driver here for BIS. Well, he's been Britannia Iceports team as well. You know, we know that this guy has pace. We've seen him especially around the oval as well. He's very hot around the oval, but he's put himself in a very good position. And Zach Buchanan as well, he's up 6 spots. A couple of guys are, but the reason I'm mentioning Zach is he's in that cherished number 10 spot right now.
Yeah, Zach Buchanan's got a lot to work with here, and we'll see what he can do going forward. Jonathan Wager with the most positions gained at 8, along with Michael Broomhead as the number 40 of Buchanan. Tries to chase down Broomhead as well as keep John Benwillid and Richard Swindells behind. Question is, will the likes of Swindells and Broomhead be able to keep their consistency up and finish in the top 10? This will be really interesting to see as Nicholas Colander makes his way past Nick Horvath, and now Jonathan Wager fancies a move as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see these guys back together, but I don't think the battle is over yet. Jonathan Wager definitely needs to get in there as well. Oh, no. Yeah, I see why.
Oh, there we go. Nice. Nicely done from Jonathan Wager.
I got to admit, I think the survival instinct may have kicked into Nicholas Colander there. He was looking at the pros and cons and was like, nope, I'm checking out of that. And I can't say that I blame him. A little bit of weaving going on there. You know, definitely trying to, oh, that's Horvath. He's taking the steering group. Cold tires, buddy, cold tires. But it looks like he's managed to keep it on the track. Only just definitely having a slight detour there. And who's that behind him I see now? Tyler Scarelli, he's right behind him. So Ken Scarelli, remember, he's on a harder set of tires as well. Actually, as I look, Scarelli, Horvath, and a Hardman all on that's the hard tires, isn't it there, Reese?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Everyone else is on the soft.
I do wish that instead of giving us colors, that they would literally put hard or soft. That would be so much easier to understand.
Well, I think about it like, the alternate compound is red, and it shows up as red in Joel Real Timing, and also red on the feed here is now Andrew Hardman fancies a look at Colander. Here we go. Wider line, straighter exit. Looks like Hardman might just have it, but oh man, he's really having trouble over the crest there. He does complete the move, but not without visiting the grass.
Well, it looks like Tyler Scarelli, he's keen to get in on that as well. Colander currently absolutely getting a little bit of a slap as everybody's trying to make their way by. He's kind of stuck on a roller coaster at this point, and in a scenario like that, it can be hard to get, back in the groove. He's constantly having to defend and therefore not able to focus on attack. He's dropped about 6 tenths back behind Horvath. Scarelli 3 tenths behind him, but Scarelli's under pressure as well. Buchanan 3 tenths behind him. Benvillid 3 tenths behind. Richard Swindells, he's about 4 tenths. Then Broomhead's right up the tail shaft of Swindells as well. Only 2 or 3 tenths in it as well. A huge pack, all basically fighting for 5th position at this point.
Yeah, and quite a few of them on push to pass right now to try and get this done. Incredible stuff here. This is only a non-championship round, but they're racing like it's the final race of the championship, and they're all equal on points. Here comes Zach Buchanan up the inside of Tyler Scarelli, but Scarelli's going to defend it. Big slide there from Buchanan. He's going to lose out to John Benwillid and potentially Swindells as well.
Yeah, Swindells is he is going full honey badger, trying to get in and get an extra position. But Broomhead's there, trying to go up the inside of Swindells as well. He certainly put a little bit of a nose in, trying to make himself known. He's kind of waving in the wing mirrors at this point, maybe flipping him the bird. Probably not, but maybe for a little bit of banter, I could see it happening. But absolutely huge battles. Honestly, I thought Buchanan was going to lose it then. Well defended by Scarelli. It looked pretty clean, but Colander dropped back about 1.2 seconds off Horvath. So Horvath potentially broken the draft, and he's kind of running his own race for 5th, and the battle now becomes for 6th position.
Yeah, it's still just as tight as it's always been. Scarali getting a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 7. It means John Benwilid's going to have a go at him. They're all on push to pass right now. Colander, Scarali and Benwilid. This battle for 6th is going off. Benwilid has a look, but he's not quite far up enough to get the move done. He spooked Scarali though, but he spooked himself. He gets into the wall.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
That car is definitely cosmetically challenged at this point. That is John Benwilid. Now, quick shout out to John Benwilid, actually. Lever Racing, he's been around with BIS for a long, long time, and I always like to mention this as well, especially for the Radicals and the F1600s when we run those. Him and his team, Cedric, are high-end, a couple of the guys, they often put up practice sessions. We don't ask them to, and they put them up anyway, and that's something, that kind of sportsmanship, inviting people to come along and practice with you, that's always something I like to see. It's refreshing. So thank you again to John Benwilid and Lima Racing as well.
Yeah, indeed, great group of guys that's racing here in the BiS IndyCar Series and yeah, basically everything at BiS Sim Leagues. This battle is still not over though, Zippy. Scarali now facing off against Swindells. He managed to dispatch Benwilid, not intentionally, but certainly it's going to be interesting to see how long Scarali can hold on here. But I would say that this battle between Swindells, Broomhead, and Scarali, they'd probably be better off just sitting as they are, because they currently occupy 8th, 9th, and 10th. They'll be your top 3 for race 3 if they can hold on.
That's interesting as well. Like, where this is, a non-championship round, I'm thinking I'm going to be trying to get as high up as I possibly can. Tactics is fun, but winning is better. And
oh no, Scarali! Oh, that's massive. Scarali just had a huge incident at turn 5 there. He got airborne over the curb.
I'm looking forward to seeing the replay of that. It wasn't just the sponsor that was rogue. It was definitely the line through that corner, the behavior afterwards. It was absolutely, well, it was a belter. But let's have a quick look at this replay. So, all right, he's going hot. Everything looks good. Looks normal. Okay.
Wait for the curb, though.
Yeah,
Boing.
Too much curb. Got to wiggle. That's Jenga.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate there for Tyler Scarali. And he's going to have to start this final race from near the back now. Such a shame. He was holding on to a fantastic position. Would have started 3rd for race 3 if he'd managed to hold on to that. Oh dear, that's Nick Horvath that's gone off there on the exit of turn 1. And, well, he has allowed Colander and Buchanan through.
Definitely a little bit of inconsistency there from Horvath. You see, trying to put up a little bit of defense and running real.
No!
That's a little bit of a nudge on Broomhead.
Oh no, that ain't good. Broomhead caught it, but he's lost half his front wing. That's a real shame. He's not going to have any grip here through turn 6. Look at him, he's struggling to get the car turned in. Yeah,
definitely. Don't get me wrong, these guys are pretty close. I don't think there'll be too much anger or anything like that. But let's have another quick replay of that. It looks like Horvath was trying to defend the line. Obviously, he's lost the exit speed. And absolute perfect. Just slowed it down nice. Broomhead taking a good bit of curb, able to keep it under control. Horvath a little bit too much curb. The car bounces. And to be honest, I think depending on the angle, that might have been a little bit of net code.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure. Reese, what do you reckon about that?
Yeah, I think yeah, there was space between the cars, but it did look like they made contact. So yeah, interesting stuff there. Broomhead, interestingly, is going to continue on with half a front wing, and I mean, there's only 5 minutes remaining in the race, and he currently holds on to 9th spot. So that makes complete sense to me. Even if you have a slightly damaged car, as long as you don't have a mechanical black flag, you'll want to continue if you're in that 9th spot. That's a front row start for the next race.
Definitely, I would definitely go for that as well. If you can keep that car going. I mean, behind him, he's got about a 2.7 second gap to JP Burns, but my director, he's kindly put this camera up very specifically. I want to see if Broomhead had an alignment issue as well, and to be fair, I think he's all right. That wheel looks pretty damn straight to me, so don't get me wrong, the aero, he is going to notice that, he is going to feel it, but at least the wheel straight as well. And well, one thing I did mean to do today is check the speed of the guys in the draft compared to the guys who aren't. But having a damaged car, that's kind of going to nerf the results for that.
Yeah, it is. Well, Broomhead currently holds on to quite a large gap over JP Burns. Just crossed the line, and Burns just crossing the line now. So I don't know if Broomhead's going to be able to hold on for 9th, but I think he is safe for 10th. Marlon Jones is only just entering the final chicane now in 11th place.
Well, as I look through the field, it looks like Jonathan Wager and Joey Haynes are going to have a bit of a battle for this second position with about 4 minutes left to go. Now, Joey Haynes, he did message me earlier looking for the broadcast team, and I'm proud to say that I did get it to him. I will work on getting that out a little bit sooner. You know, obviously, where Pit Road Productions is quite new, I'm having a little bit of a steep learning curve, and I'm sure our director will get a little bit of a kick when he watches the first time I ever directed a race on Sunday. But we're on board here with Joey Haynes. Yeah, Joey Haynes. He's chasing down Jonathan Wager and absolutely sending it about 2/10 of a second now. As I look at the last lap, Jonathan Wager was he's about a second quicker, but interestingly enough, I mean, looking at the gap, you'd find it hard to believe. Wonderful headshot there from Joey Haynes as well. Spread out a little bit again as well, up to 6th. So we'll see what happens with these guys. In terms of best lap, Wager's got the edge by about half a second.
Yeah, Wager certainly looking quick, but I think at this late stage, only 3 minutes left on the clock. It remains to be seen whether or not he's going to be able to make up that gap. He'd need to make up more than a second a lap in order to pass Ozzy Milwain at the front. Joey Haynes, meanwhile, his last lap was a second slower than Wager, but he's continuing to try and pressure him to get back into that second spot. Wager, of course, I look at him and I think, man, what might have been if he hadn't had that horrendous result in race 1? He'd probably be steaming his way to victory. You never know. But, well, we've still got 2.5 minutes to sort this out.
Well, in all fairness as well, Wager is up 11 spots, and let's not forget as well, Zach Buchanan, he is matching that. He's up 11 spots as well. But now, I did say Buchanan would be one of the guys to watch. As I see, that looks like, is that Richard Swindells? Yeah, that's Swindells hot on the heels of Nick Horvath. Now, Colander. So, Colander and Horvath, I think these guys, they've basically become, fire and ice to each other, absolutely constantly battling. And I do wonder, do you reckon Swindell's got a little bit of a slowdown, maybe a bit too aggressive on the track limitations?
Yeah, maybe. Slowdowns are easy to get at Road Atlanta, particularly at turn 3. So Swindells will have to gear this one up for a little bit better of a run. Easy does it on your way into turn 7, and man, he slid a little bit, so that's not ideal. Broomhead and Burns behind as well. Looks like Broomhead's going to be under attack here from JP Burns. Remember though, Broomhead is not going to lose out all that much if he loses this position. Burns currently sits in 10th. That's pole position for race 3. And the gap to John Benwillid is huge right now. It's in excess of 25 seconds. So if Broomhead loses 9th, not the end of the world. In fact, maybe the start of the next one.
Yeah, I definitely don't think he's going to fight too hard. If Burns gets to make a move on him, he will absolutely get out of this guy's way. Risk versus reward. But we got to remember as well, is Burns having the same kind of thought? Is he just going to sit behind Broomhead and just go, I'm going to ride this one out? He's not a name I've seen here at BIS before. So the question is, has he remembered that race 3 will be the inverted grid for the top 10? I see a little bit of a puff of smoke there. What was that all about?
Looks like Swindell's potentially having some issues on the exit of turn 5. I'm not too sure. It's very easy to go for a slide there, catch the gravel on the exit of the turn. It turns out, yes, Swindells did indeed have an issue, we're being told in our ears, as the final lap begins for Ozzy Milwain and Jonathan Wager. Joey Haynes on push to pass to try and get second place back here. So all Ozzy Milwain has to do now is just nurse this car home. He leads by 2.7 seconds. Wager has not been able to make up that gap. And also a final lap battle going on between Nick Horvath and Nicholas Colander. Swindell's also making another small mistake. He's bringing Broomhead and Burns back into it. And there's a lot of racing going on here on this final lap. But it's a very short final lap, Zippy, as Broomhead runs a little wide in turn 3. We're about to have Ozzy Milwain take the finish.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic race there by Aussie Milwane. As we're going to get a quick look at him in just a moment. I believe is that Aussie's car?
That's him.
I felt
Yep.
sure. I felt sure he was in different colours. My apologies. He's in the Evolve Sim Sports car. Actually, in the team side of view, very well represented today, which is always good. You know, race with your homies kind of deal. But absolutely fantastic race from Aussie Milwane. He only moved up one position, but you know what? He had a clean race. You can see there, Jonathan Wager come across the line in second place, up 11 spots. Fantastic race. Joey Haynes not quite able to get it done. He came third with Andrew Hardman in fourth, Zach Buchanan in fifth, Nick Horvath in sixth, and Nicholas Colander, he is there. I believe he's there. Yeah, they're going across the line now in seventh.
Yep, Swindells will finish 8th, Broomhead in 9th, and Burns in 10th. So JP Burns, he was gaining on Broomhead quite substantially in those last few laps, but might be a combination of Broomhead just driving the wheels off that double O and Burns backing off. I think we can confirm JP Burns is going to be your pole sitter for race 3.
Yeah, definitely a good position to be in. Now, being on the pole, you know, is that going to affect your choice of tyre compound? Now, we've already seen that the softs do start to wear off a little bit, but you know what? I think I'd want every possible advantage I could get going for me. It is easier to defend through the corners, but then once you get to the back straight, I mean, you can't defend that. You can't, but we do. The drivers do have a quick 5-minute warm up as well. So going into the final race, Reese, who's going to be your pick?
Oh god, it's really hard to pick. I mean, I'm looking at the starting order here, and I would say that Milwane, Wager, and Haynes are definitely going to be making their way up through the field. I think it's going to be tough for JP Burns to hold on to that. I mean, he started 11th for race 1. He finished exactly there. Started 11th, finished 10th for race 2. So his pace is not quite at the level of those front runners. But, I mean, he's going to defend like an animal.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you got to fight as hard as you can. Now, Broomhead's definitely not had the best of luck this evening, but I think there's a lot of fast guys up there. I don't want to sound like a favourite, but my money's on Buchanan right now. He's been racing clean, you know. Don't get me wrong, he got caught in that earlier incident, but, you know, he's pretty focused. I think Buchanan is going to be the one to watch.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Buchanan, he's got a lot going for him at the moment. I mean, he qualified 6th, right? He should be top 5, but he's had such a difficult night so far. I mean, this is only a non-championship race, but the stakes are still incredibly high.
Well, it's definitely going to be a really, really good final race. I'm looking forward to it. But as we're here, and this is BIS, you know, don't get me wrong, in the summer, we just run the IndyCar Championship. You know, it's a little bit quiet in the summer. We see that across the board in sim racing. Obviously, the weather gets nice outside and people don't want to stay inside. I disagree. It's too hot for me. I like air conditioning, but each race car should have air conditioning as far as I'm concerned. But one thing we do in the fall and the winter is we have the BIS F1600, and then we also have the BIS Radical Cup Canada, and that has been an absolutely fantastic series. We've done 2 seasons of it now, mate. 2 seasons? We might have done a third. I'm pretty sure we've done 2 though. And yep, it's been fantastic. And this last round, we did have a chance to get the winners of the pro and amateur class into Real Radicals, and we've actually got a little bit of footage to show that as well. So our director's going to cue that up in a minute as the drivers, they got about 2 minutes left of their warm-up. So we'll have a quick look at this clip, and then we'll get back to, I guess, putting up with me and Reese.
How was it?
It's awesome. Yeah, just a winning experience.
It was awesome. One of the coolest things I've ever done.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Absolutely fantastic to see that footage. You got to see Ozzy Milwain and Zach Buchanan in there. Poor old Zach, he ended up having the more soggy experience, you know. But don't get me wrong, I think as a driving experience, you know what? You got the chance to drive a real one. I'm happy for you. You know, that's an absolutely fantastic opportunity. I actually have a friend who has a real one, and sadly, he's not let me go in the cockpit yet, and that's understandable. I mean, I just got my lapping and track license, and then did that, and I made it back to the track since. So, you know, the downside of working on your own car, I guess. I mean, you can fix it yourself, and you know, there's that. But then it also means if you can fix your cars yourself, it always tends to be a lot more work to do as well. My advice: definitely do not buy a BMW E90. I've learnt that one the hard way. But as we're getting ready for this final race, you know, Reese, which tyre compound are you going for? We've got about 30 seconds roughly.
Well, I don't know, man. It's tough, isn't it? I mean, the majority of the field used the soft tires in race 2, and it seems like that worked out for them. I'd be very surprised if anyone goes for the hards in this race. I think if you're going for the hards, maybe it's a confidence issue more than anything. You're trying to keep that stability in the car. You're trying to keep the pace consistent to the end. It'll be interesting to see.
Absolutely. Well, myself, I think I would probably go for the softs, especially if I'm in a position where I'm in a great grid position, you know, great starting position. I'm going to go for it. But these guys, they're going to be gridding up any second. I do wonder if we can go through the grid for you. I don't know what your guys' memory's like, but mine is, well, it's questionable at times. You know, I can't remember the grid by heart. So, we'll have a quick peek, hopefully. But you know, see a little bit of chat on the iRacing communication for the guys in the server. I'd like to tell you I know what they're saying, but I'd be lying. But here we go. Here's the grid. So in first position, well, starting on pole even, is JP Burns. Alongside him is Michael Broomhead. Richard Swindell's up in third. Nicholas Calander, he's having an absolutely fantastic night. It's great to see. He's in fourth. Nick Horvath in fifth. Obviously, you got to have Calander and Horvath together. And then Zach Buchanan there in sixth.
Yep, starting in 7th place, we have Andrew Hardman. Joey Haynes will be starting alongside him on the 4th row. And then we have Jonathan Wager and Ozzy Milwain rounding out the top 10. That's your inverted top 10 there. From there, they start exactly where they finished. Ben Willard and Jones, 11th and 12th.
As we have a look at 13, Sean Fitzgerald, he came a little bit unstuck in that last race. So did Tyler Scarelli, actually. They're in 13th and 14th. Alan Duronco, now, I didn't see the incident that happened to him, but I did see the alert to say that he binned it. He's there in 15th alongside Ryan Chapman. Andrew Rarin back in 17th, and Hans Salnave there in 18th. But one thing I did quickly find out as well, Andrew Harmon, Joey Haynes, Jonathan Wager, and Ozzy Milwain. As you can see there on the grid, you've got basically Evolve Sim Sports. They are on your right of your screen, and Britannia iSports on the left. So this is going to be very, very interesting at the race start.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a huge start here in the back half of the top 10, not to mention the front half of the top 10. Can JP Burns hold on to that first position? Have a look at this. It's very high temperatures at the moment out there on circuit, 35 degrees Celsius. That is approaching 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a very hot track out there, but it seems like the soft tires don't mind it very much. The race is short enough that you're able to make use of it. And looking at the timing here, actually looks like we're pretty even initially for the split between hard and soft. But now that I look properly, seems like Nick Horvath is the only car out there that's on the hard tire. So he's the wild card here.
Well, definitely. Maybe he just wants to try and get ahead of Calander. It won't be in the early stages, but maybe nearer the end. These guys having an absolute battle. But you can see there, that bright yellow car, that's Zach Buchanan. I can see him being very aggressive at the start. I think he'll be clean to try and get by. As they've gone for a green flag, Horvath is hot on the gas. He's on the inside line. Buchanan trying to find a way round, and there just isn't the real estate available for him to do so. I think I would definitely want to be on the outside here. Uh-oh.
Oh, this has been a huge crash.
That Wager.
Yeah, Wager and Milwain, they came together in turn 1. Wager flew through the air.
Well, if you're doing Britannia iSports versus Evolve Sim Sports, I guess I was about to say 1-1, but that's Broomhead. He was in the race in second position, and yet again he's missing the left front piece of his wing. We'll have a quick look at the replay very, very shortly, but Zach Buchanan, I did say it, he's up in the third.
Indeed. There was a little bit more to that incident between Milwane and Wager, actually. It looks like Wager actually banged wheels with Andrew Hardman, and that's what sent him up into the air and into Milwane. Just a really unfortunate incident between those two. But the fight in the top 5 is certainly on. Nicholas Colander finding his way up into second. Buchanan up 3 positions and looking to make the move.
Well, you can see there, Buchanan absolutely trying to go for. He'll be keen to try and get ahead, chase down JP Burns. I can see him getting up into the lead. Colander really just, threading the line there with that curve. I don't know if he's going to want to fight Buchanan. Buchanan, he's got a little bit of a reputation now of being like a BIS regular, and we know that the guy's quick, But Colander, he's still keen. He's still hot on the heels, and I do wonder if Buchanan could perhaps give him a little bit of a draft and try and keep him enough ahead of Swindles, who's actually got Joey Haynes right behind him, who looks pretty keen to try and make a pass.
Yeah, Joey Haynes, he's finished on the podium in both races so far. 2 third places. Can he make it a third place is the question, as Swindles now looks to get past Colander. He's going to have the inside line for 10A, but he's thinking about it. It was sort of a half-hearted attempt there. It gave Colander time to go defensive, and that's compromised Swindles. It'll allow Haynes right through at the final turn.
Well, you can see that he's still definitely not out of the running yet, and I just want to say as well to the people who are in the chat, Resignate, thank you very much for tuning in. Tyler Broody as well, thank you for tuning in. I understand Tyler Broody is in Northeast Indiana. Still hasn't turned on your AC. That is a great situation to be in. I wish my work had AC. Definitely working on cars gets a little bit warm, but I just wanted to thank the guys for tuning in on the chat. But as we get back to the action, I can see Buchanan, he is now trying to make an attack onto JP Burns. He's about 3 tenths back, and then we have that huge battle for, let me see here, that's third place. There's third down to 7th, all want the same position. Nicholas Colander is the man in the hot seat once again.
Yep. You can't miss him. Traffic cone liveried car, and he's got a very angry train all behind him. Move for the lead, though. Up goes Zach Buchanan into the lead of the race. JP Burns will have to settle for second, at least for the time being. Let's see if he can hold on to it, because have a look at how close Colander is to him now. Colander making up a huge gap on those behind as they were battling with each other. Haynes leading the pack. Horvath, Hardman, and Swindles all behind him. This is fantastic.
Well, I think I just seen Marlon Jones dropping back a little bit there. I think something's happened with him. Yeah, I'm seeing Marlon Jones and John Bemberlid may have crashed. There is something going on. As you see, Marlon, yeah, he's missing the right front of the wing. And to quote somebody who's currently in the chat on our YouTube, some people wear baseball caps backwards. Some people race with half a front wing. So that's Broomhead and Marlon Jones in this scenario. Thank you, Tyler, for that.
Yes, indeed. Tyler Broody, one of my followers on Twitter, he likes almost every one of my I'm broadcasting tweets. I've just reviewed the incident between Jones and Benwillid. It just looks like a really awkward coming together, coming out of 10A and 10B as the move is made. Also there for, I believe that's Hardman there in the number 3, getting past Nick Horvath, who, remember, is the only driver in the field running the hard tyre. Maybe he's regretting that decision now.
Well, certainly he's going to be in a position of greater strength near the end of the race. I've just seen as well Ryan Chapman managed to sneak by Alan Duronco, and he is already pulling away. But Nicholas Colander, again, still in that hot seat. But his good thing is he's got JP Burns ahead of him. Perhaps Burns can help try and pull him away, keep him away from that front wing of Joey Haynes. But Joey Haynes and Hardman, these guys are going to be keen. They are going to be chasing for a podium. Absolutely sending it, but the question is, can they get by? It's all very good having pace, that's one thing, but you need the racecraft, you need the opportunity to be able to get past and make the move.
Oh dear. Payne's almost went right into the back of Colander coming into turn 7, but he's got the slipstream, he's got push to pass, he's using that extra power. Look at how much it's worth here. Right at the end of the straight though, Colander starts to come back. Who's bravest on the brakes? Last of the late breakers, it looks like will be Joey Haynes, and Colander will have to yield there, and he's offline. That's going to allow Hardman to get up the inside at the final corner, and he'll just get it done by the time they get to the exit. Colander is in trouble right now. The entire second half of the lap has been compromised.
Yeah, definitely. If you're at the on the alternative line through some of the corners, it can have like a ricocheting effect, or more like a cumulative effect. But Andrew Hardman, he was basically getting buy one, get one free in that scenario, able to take Horvath and then take Colander basically straight after. Absolutely fantastic driving there from Hardman.
Yeah, brilliant stuff indeed. This has been a fantastic race so far. I think the drivers have gotten most, if not all, of the nerves out of their systems, and they can get down to business. This is really fantastic viewing at the moment. I do love IndyCar racing, and I'm really happy to be here for BIS. As have a look at JP Burns. He's going to fall down to 3rd place now. That's Haynes making the move on him. Remember that Burns was the driver who started on pole position, and he's not quite on pace with these guys. I'm actually quite impressed he's managed to hold on for this long.
He's definitely put up a really good effort, but I called it on this one. Joey Haynes and Andrew Hardman, they are going for it, dipping a little bit of a wheel in the sand. These guys are having a great race, but our league admin, Mike Broomhead, he isn't. He's actually gone and snuck into the commentary booth. He's muted himself, but we were not going to ask him how his race went. Oh, I'll tell you what, Mike, do you want to tell us a little bit about it while you're in here?
Oh, absolutely atrocious. Yeah, bad driving from me. I'm very, very bad at this, apparently. So, you know what? I thought I'd come and chat and see how it's going.
Well, it was described in the YouTube chat that some people wear a baseball cap backwards, other people race with half a wing, and we've seen you demonstrate that on numerous occasions. The wing side now, the baseball cap, could you verify for us?
Yeah, there's no cap. I'm just I'm good at damaging my car. I damaged it a few times there and lost it on my own a few times. Those curbs are killer though. You just get a little bit wide and it just shoots you into the wall. So these cars aren't built for road Atlanta, really. It's probably why they don't come here normally. But yeah, we'll learn today, and thankfully everybody's safe and sound on the sim.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of a review there from Mike Broomhead. We did say earlier leading up into the race that the curbs could be an issue, and Michael Broomhead very elegantly, and at times not so elegantly, able to demonstrate that point. But let's get back to the action now. So Richard Swindell's, he's having a little bit of a scrap with the 33 car of Andrew Waring. Swindell's getting a lot of screen time tonight. He's really been a bit feisty, and you know, I'm wondering if having a little bit less time to practice has worked in his favor. You know, he's been very racy tonight, keen to put up a fight, and he's looking to take a little bit of a chunk out of one of the Evolved Sim Sport cars.
Yeah, Swindell's, it seems, has gotten onto the pace now. He did have his issues, but you know, he qualified 10th, 14th place in race 1, went to 8th in race 2. He now sits in 8th after starting 3rd for this final race. He's got a lot of pace, I think, in his midst here, but Waring taking a lot out of him on the last lap. Remember, they've got Colander ahead of them as well, which is certainly going to be a fight to witness. So is this one between JP Burns and Nick Horvath. It looks like Horvath, the lone wolf on the hard tyre, is starting to see that strategy come to fruition. The hard tyre still has a lot left in it, and he's actually gapping Colander and Waring.
Yeah, he should start to be just, you know, coming into his element. As I have a look at the last lap, so Nick Horvath did a 107.492. JP Burns just a fraction slower. To save the math in your head, I'll do it in mine. About 0.3 of a second slower. So Horvath absolutely right up on the rear wing of JP Burns. But, excuse me, again, can he get it done? Or is there all that time gap being done in the draft on the back straight?
Yeah, that is the question. Corner exits as well, probably an issue. These cars are quite powerful, twin-turbo V6s, and if you're on worn soft tyres at this stage, traction is at a premium out of a lot of these corners. See Horvath here struggling to get on the power there. Of course, the harder tyre does have less overall grip than the softs, but look for him to start making moves here in the first part of the lap. Very fast corners here where worn tyres are not your friend.
Yeah, definitely a little bit too aggressive on the curb there. I do wonder if the iRacing stewards will give him a penalty for that. It's not flagged just yet, but I think Nicholas Kalenda may have had a little bit of an incident as well. I do see that Richard Swindell has managed to sneak by, not quite pulling away, starting to, but it's about 0.6 of a second in it. So let's have a quick look at this replay. Here you go, dipping a little bit of a tire in the grass, and yep, this is going down the back straight. Absolutely aggressive lunge out to the outside, and yep, getting that car well ahead. Colander there on the inside. He knows he's beat, and yep, Swindell's making a nice clean pass heading into the final chicane.
Oh, Andrew Hartman and Joey Haynes are together for third place, side by side coming out of the chicane. Wow, what a move from Andrew Hartman. Managed to get up the inside into 10A and held the outside through 10B, but Joey Haynes is going to try and come back at him here. This is a very interesting battle for second spot, and they're only 2 seconds behind Zach Buchanan, our overall leader. They don't want to get in each other's way too much.
I've got to admit, I would have thought Buchanan would have been able to pull away that little bit more. Hardman and Haynes have really had to, work their way through the field in the later stages of the race. Gave Buchanan plenty of opportunity to run away, but you know what? At the minute, I'm still right on my prediction, and I'm not right that often, so I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. And I'm not married or got a girlfriend either, so that's, I guess, part of the reason I get to be right sometimes. But with that attitude, I think it's going to stay the same way. But you can see there, Zach Buchanan and Andrew Harbin using the push to pass. Joey Haynes isn't. I do wonder. I think I can see if he's got any left. Give me a few moments while I look into that.
Yeah, indeed. While you're doing that, Zippy, we'll have a look at the replay of the move that Andrew Hardman made on Joey Haynes. Pretty simple slipstream maneuver, probably using a bit of push to pass as well. That's ever so likely, but managed to get the inside line for 10A. Haynes tried to fight back, but the outside line means a straighter exit, and Hardman was able to consolidate the maneuver from there. Brilliant little fight between those two.
Well, as I have a look at the timing screen, so Joey Haynes currently, he's used 4 of his push to pass, Hardman 6, and Zach Buchanan has used 7. So I do wonder if Haynes is maybe saving a few, but, that's not going to help him. If he gets too far back, then that, he's not going to be in a position to actually make good use of it. I would say if I was him, get on that button, smash it, and hope that you can stay on the tail of Andrew Hardman.
Yeah, I mean, the race is certainly not over. We have 2 minutes left on the clock, looking for the beginning of the penultimate lap here. When Zach Buchanan crosses the line, there is still time for Hardman to make a mistake and for Haynes to move through. Speaking of moves, Andrew Waring and Nick Horvath. Oh, my Lord. Horvath. Oh, he goes for a slide, and Andrew Waring's front wing is halved. Oh, my goodness. That was quite the interesting little exchange there. Horvath, remember, only driver on the hard tyres, and Waring tried to make the move but couldn't get away with a whole car.
Well, it's made it very interesting for us. We now got a group of 4 cars together. Swindell's is at the back of that pack. It's about 2 seconds back to Sean Fitzgerald. He's not yet in the equation for this battle. All about the 4th position. So Andrew Waring, he's up in 4th. You've got JP Burns behind him, and then you're on board here with Nick Horvath. He's got Richard Swindell's right behind him, but you see that Burns looking to try and make a sneaky move on the inside. I don't know if it's going to pay off for him, because he could try and make that move, but Horvath is going to get a fantastic draft of not just one, but both cars. Swindell's there in the background, and Sean Fitzgerald able to gain a whole second in that corner.
Yeah, Sean Fitzgerald is absolutely flying right now. Waring in trouble here with only half a front wing. He's got to try and defend here from JP Burns, but Burns will take him just about. Waring nails the exit though, almost driving like he has a whole front wing there.
You see that? Oh, Fitzgerald was trying to make a move on the inside of Swindell's. Swindell's trying to make a move on Burns. It is almost like these guys are doing the cucaracha. Absolutely, you know, it's like a pendulum effect. Everybody trying to make that move, make that pass, but then also under attack themselves. You know, this chicane sequence, not one where I would be going for it. I'd be trying to stay as tight as I can to the car ahead, try and get a really clean exit out here, avoid the curbing. Certainly, I know there's a few drivers in the grid that could vouch for that, and then try and make that move going down the back straight.
Hey, you see how much the cars are bouncing over that exit curb at turn 5. Lock up from Waring. He's gone deep, and through will go Burns, Swindells, and Fitzgerald. What a fight this is. It's the final lap, by the way. Zach Buchanan is about to come across the line to win the final race of the night. But, man, we can't take our eyes away from this 5th place battle.
Yeah, oh, are they going 3 wide? I thought about it. They thought about it. You see that little bit of a nudge, perhaps, and it looks like Waring is going to try and sneak on the inside. Who's that? Sean Fitzgerald are able to sneak by Swindell's. Swindell's really getting the short straw on that one. And that finish line as well, so close to that corner exit. I wonder if we could maybe get a little slow-mo replay of that final corner. We've got quick eyes here on Zach Buchanan. This is your race winner. I'm going to try not to do the Jeremy Clarkson smug face at this point, but it's happening. Well done, Zach. Race 3 winner. Andrew Harmon in 2nd. Joey Haynes there in 3rd. We'll go through the full grid very shortly. I do wonder if we could get maybe our director can sort us out for that. You know, he's a very busy man. He does. Well, I'm going to butter him up a little bit.
We shall see indeed. Just a slight little note, a footnote to Zach Buchanan's great victory there. Hardman was catching him up massively on the final lap, made up 0.5 of a second, and they finished almost nose to tail. So Hardman had a really lovely late charge, but it wasn't quite enough. No one could stop Zach Buchanan at the front of the field.
Absolutely fantastic race. Yep, here we go. This is that replay. I wonder if we can just get it in a little bit of a slow-mo for us.
Oh.
There you go. You see a little bit of a nudge there from Fitzgerald. Waring absolutely capitalized on that. Goes, thank you very much. Swindell's kind of hung out to dry on that. JP Burns is more like, yep, I'm absolutely running out of here. But it's especially as they go over the line. That must have been so incredibly tight. Here we go. Yeah, they just need... I think if that line had been at the other end of the straight, Swindell's would have maybe got it back. But what a race at the end. I mean, that's got to be a good feeling.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I loved these sprints at Road Atlanta, Zippy. That was really a fantastic night of racing. Much enjoy. Very good.
That was absolutely cracking. But let's go for your final results of race 3, if that's all right, Mr. Director. There we go. So in first place for Project 2, you got Zach Buchanan. He was your race winner for race 3. Andrew Harmon there for Britannia iSports. He's in 2nd. Joey Haynes at Evolve Sim Sports. He's in 3rd. Nick Horvath, I got to be honest, he had a very on again, off again kind of, racing evening, but, he managed to get 4th. Definitely wasn't the smoothest ride for him, but a good result. JP Burns there in 5th. Sean Fitzgerald there in 6th. Andrew Rowe in 7th. Richard Swindell's kind of got the short straw at the end. He's there in 8th. Nicholas Calander, poor guy, he was on a little bit of the roller coaster for a little bit. Well, I mean, the whole track is a roller coaster, but he's kind of stuck on the conveyor belt for a little bit. He's there in 9th. And then Brian Chapman sneaking in for your top 10.
Yeah, and last car to finish on the lead lap as well. Tyler Scarali, 11th place, a lap down. Marlon Jones and Alan Duronco, 2 laps down. And we had retirements from Broomhead, Ben Willard, Milwain, Wager, and Salnave. I don't think Hans took the start of that final race. But, man, it was a tough one for the drivers out there. But we got some great racing out of it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think I'm going to try and catch up with our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Joey Haynes. Can I get a mic check? Are you there, sir?
I am here. Good to see you, Zippy.
Oh, it's good to see you too, sir. One of the BIS regulars. Now, you had a absolutely fantastic night. Tell us a little bit about the closing battle there with Andrew Hartman.
Honestly, I was hoping we could work together a bit and try and close up on Zach, but I started to run out of tires in the last few laps and just didn't quite have enough to bring us both back up there. So I kind of tried not to fight him too hard, see if I could follow him up there and hope maybe something happened between them. But that just didn't work out.
Well, I will say this: for some of the drivers this evening, it has been very much a their race position could have been a bingo card at that point. But yourself, not one of similar beliefs, I would say. You did a third in race one, a third in race two, and then a third in race three. How do you feel about that?
A little disappointed. I mean, being on the podium's nice, but I mean, I ran second for a lot of race two. Jonathan Wager got me there towards the end. He had really good pace, and then kind of the same deal in the last race here. Just didn't quite have the pace to hold Hardman off at the end, and yeah, it just kind of worked out the way it did. I mean, it's good to get consistent results, and you always want to be on the podium, but you want to go for the wins too, right?
Well, that is one of the things, as race drivers, third is nice, second is better, but realistically, I want to be number one. And I'm sure somebody did a song called Number One. I think it was a Tinchy Strider or something. Come on, Joey. Think of the days when you would have been there in the pub. Maybe just me. But is there anybody you want to thank tonight?
I mean, just all the guys that evolve. Andrew, Ozzy, they came out, ran a good race tonight. It was good to have Andrew back out. Everyone who supports us, TNT Promos, Joe's Pokestop, Tranco, obviously BIS for putting on a great league, and Pit Road Productions for putting on a fantastic broadcast. We couldn't do it without you guys either, so thank you.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Mr. Joey Haynes. He was your third place finisher for not just one, not two, but all three races. Well done, Joey.
No, thank you, Daniel. Talk to you soon.
Talk soon, Joey. Thank you. I understand Reese has been able to catch up with our second place finisher, Mr. Andrew Hardman.
Yeah, you qualified in second, Andrew, and it took you a while to get back there. It was certainly an interesting night for you, up and down the field.
Yeah, absolutely. The first, first lap, I pretty bonehead move in the first race. So back at the pack, or back in the back of the pack, fought my way up a little bit, and then second race was able to get my way through a bit of traffic, but wrong tires. I decided to match the Evolve guys, but they decided to switch. So second race was a bit of a wash, and then last race was good. I was just too slow getting past the slower runners to make it a real challenge to Zach, but it was close. It was fun. So yeah.
Yeah, certainly looked like a very fun night from your perspective. The tires were a big factor tonight. The lifting of the rule that you got to use both compounds, like it certainly made things difficult. Where were you standing on the hard versus soft tire debate? I mean, it's obvious which the behavior of the tires, but I guess it all depended on the track temperature and where you were in the field, how much you could push those softs.
Yeah, I think that at least for me, the delta between the faster runners on softs at the beginning of the race when I was on hards was like second, and then the delta at the end I was maybe 0.3 faster. So it just wasn't justified to sort of take that penalty at the beginning of the race. So I'm firmly in the softs camp as long as you can be, not a belligerent tire waster.
Well, in any case, this is a non-championship round, so no points up for grabs here today, but you obviously had a very fun night out there, scintillating your way from second down to eighth, up to fourth, and then back up to second over the course of the three races. Is there anyone you want to thank for that little adventure?
Well, I think the only person to thank is Mike Broomhead, and not the only person to thank. You guys are involved too. You guys make this an awesome show. But Mike had the idea for this type of event. He's made it work efficiently. He's got a good group of people that sort of follow him around whatever car and track combo he does. So all thanks goes to Mike for putting on a great league, and you guys for putting on a great show, and my cat. She's great.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. My cat's pretty great too. Andrew Hardman there, P2 finish in race 3. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
And finally, Zippy, it looks like Zach Buchanan is going to be the final driver joining us here today.
Well, Zach, definitely race one wasn't quite what you had in mind, that's for sure. Tell us a little bit about that before we get on to the greatest success you had at the end of the night.
Thanks. Yeah, listen, I don't have a good relationship with this track. I can't. I would probably need dozens and dozens of hands to count all the fingers on which I would have to count the amount of times it crashed out of turn four there. I hate that corner.
I could definitely sympathize. It caught out. If it makes you feel better, it did catch out a few of the drivers, and it was something we discussed post pre-race. Something we discussed pre-race. It was, the curbs being a little bit on the aggressive side, for the style of car that we've got. But a couple of guys gambled a little bit, I guess, on race one, lap one. You did as well. But in some ways, it was good because it kind of set you up. You made the lesson early, and then dialed it back in again. So let's get on to from race one, you moved on to race two. Things went a little bit better for you, able to get yourself from 17th to 5th. Now, absolutely fantastic charge through the field. Tell us a little bit about that. Did you have like a different tire strategy? Talk us a little bit through it.
So no, I didn't really have much of a strategy going in. I didn't really have time to practice tonight. I mean, I had to get my car battery changed like minutes before the race started, like my real life car. So no practice tonight, and being out half a lap into race one didn't help. But yeah, I was just trying to keep my nose clean. I knew I'd probably be able to get my way through the field. It did take a bit of elbows out driving, but once I got to I think fifth or so, I was kind of stuck there. The top four guys were just so fast. I didn't have much for them.
Yeah, it's definitely it can be hard to get through there. I know our director is going to show a little bit of a clip uh, for the stream where will happen for you in race one, and it's something that was very easily done. But let's focus more as well about race three. So from sixth down to first, and I got to be honest, if when you watch back the broadcast here, you can slip me the $20 because you were my pick of who I thought was going to win race three.
That's not the commentator's curse. That's the commentator's boon, I guess.
Yeah, you could say that.
So yeah, that one. I've always thought that like those invert races have always been kind of my specialty. I find I'm pretty good at getting up to the front and just kind of keeping it there, And I think one more lap, Andrew would have had me. He was so much better on his tires tonight. I was trying in that last race to keep my tires under me and take care of them, but yeah, I think I kind of got lucky with that one. It was definitely tricky, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, is there anybody you'd like to thank? And actually, before you do that, let's have a quick look at the schedule because generally you say that, oh yeah, I don't like this track or I don't like that track, and then you go and get a podium there. So I've kind of stopped really paying too much attention on whether you like the track or not. But
Well,
next round,
I think
Laguna
I think
Seca.
if you remember from last season, I said I hated Laguna Seca before we went there in the Radicals, and I nearly won a race there. So, but yeah, I'll keep saying I hate it, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, that one's going to be interesting for sure. It's definitely going to be that I've always struggled with that track, especially in this car. So I'm going to have to focus on hitting my marks more than anything. I think it's just more about bringing it home rather than trying to go all out on points.
Yeah, definitely risk versus rewards there, but it's certainly something that we're going to be looking forward to, and you'll be able to see it here live on Pit Road Productions. But before we let you go, Zach, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, everyone in the league tonight. I think it was a good show we put on. I think it was a fun night of racing. So yeah, thanks to everyone on track. Thanks to you three at Pit Road. And thanks for anyone who tuned in to watch because it was a fun one. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Zach Buchanan. It was your race free winner. And what a night that was. Some absolutely fantastic racing, very, very short lap as well, which I find adds to it. The 15-minute sprint. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Reese, what was your takes on the evening?
Honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed it myself. I love short sprint formats because they provide so much chaos and The drivers are always pushing so hard all the way through. You don't have to worry about stuff like tire management, fuel management, pit stop strategy, or anything like that. It was simply driver versus driver today. And, we saw that even the most consistent guys didn't consistently come out on top. I certainly hope for more events like this in the future.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we do have to give a little shout out to our sponsors as well. Rogue Energy is one of them. You can see they're currently at the bottom right of the screen. The world's most delicious gaming drink. Now, have a look, check their stuff out. I've got to be honest, I got to sample some of it myself. There's a QR code. Give that thing, technology is friggin' amazing. You can scan that thing with your phone and it will take you right there. Don't ask me how it works. I generally find, well, with scientists, if they don't understand it, they say God did it. Or if you don't do that, you say it's magic. Well, to me, this is magic, all right? We've also got another QR code for you to scan. So this looked like a lot of fun racing tonight. Well, I'll tell you what, why didn't you come and join in? You know, there's a couple of spots open. We'd love to see you on the grid. If you got an interesting last name, we can absolutely butcher it for you. Be part of the action. Scan that to join the BIS Discord. Get involved. And then again, not only that, we have in the fall, we often have the Radical Cup Canada, and we run the F1600 series as well. So definitely there is more coming here with BIS and Pit Road Productions. But you know what? I think that's about it for this evening. My director's going to whisper in my ear if there is something that I've missed, but we're good. Golden, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the booth has been Reese Gardner. It's been an absolute pleasure having you, and behind the scenes as well, the camera shy one, that is Mr. Christian Hill. Thank you very much, guys, for helping make a fantastic show. And thank you guys at home as well, especially the guys who tuned in on the YouTube chat. We got Resignator, we got Tyler Broody. Thanks very much for tuning in. I do apologize, I'm not maybe quite as up to date on the chat as I'd like to be, but you know, the intention's there. So we'll see you next time. And again, thanks for tuning in.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.